this lecture, and we're live streaming. Thank you all for joining. Again, my name is Heng Sure. We're going to be looking into the 10 Transferences, the 10 Dedications chapter here in our City of 10,000 Buddhas Sunday night Avatamsaka Sutra lecture. So let's begin by ringing the bell and making 3 bows. I invite you to join me if you care to do it from where you're sitting. Let me translate what I just said. 欢迎各位，今天晚上是星期天9月24号，在万佛圣城。我本身叫亨实，我现在人在Australia，这是星期一中午25号。那个刚刚介绍，我们现在正在欢迎各位参加我们这个万佛圣城星期天晚上的大放广佛华严经十回向品的佛学讲座。那我先敲引磬3下，然后各位跟我你愿意的话，我们就行3问心礼。Here's our first bow, and our second bow, third bow. All right, Locke, if you would care to request Dharma, please do it now.
恭敬大德诵听，为色法会济一切众生，经转妙法轮，教导我们如何疗伤脱色，离苦得乐，速证无上。Will the Sangha with great virtue out of compassion for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao sanputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao sanputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，
百千万劫难遭遇，
我今见闻受持愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, simple and profound, rarely is encountered, even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Alrighty, thank you so much for the Dharma request. Appreciate that. I will do my best. And we are going to invoke spiritual presence. We're going to do that musically. I think City of 10,000 Buddhas can stand a little bit of music because this is a Western culture-based sutra lecture. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. 我们就现在就迎请华严海会佛菩萨护法神圣天龙八部莅临道场那么大家会你们都谁做过潮汕从万佛圣城的大山门往佛殿 朝拜，你们就知道这个调子，我们就用这个来请法。Anybody who has done a bowing pilgrimage from the mountain gate at City of 10,000 Buddhas all the way to the Buddha Hall knows this melody, knows how to sing this chant. So let's do it together. Namo Furthermore, we want to acknowledge country, to say that the Pomo people practice spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here on their ancestral land, what we call Mendocino County, for tens of thousands of years. And today, we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说婆摩人在他们祖先的土地修炼着他们的土地和万物的精神联系有数万年。今天我们承认他们是这些土地的传统监护人和原始讲故事的人，并且向他们过去、现在、新兴的长老们致敬，以及主权从未被割让的所有的第一民族人民们致敬。Okay, yes, there we go. Different country, different county, California. But universally, we've got the bell song. There we go. Bells sound wide, resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传三千界内，佛法养万亿国中，共训起法界和平，利益报他诺后的。好的 ，Alrighty, we'll put that away for now. It's a work in progress, definitely is. And I want to see. I guess my volume is okay. Yes. 那个声音大家听清楚吗？大小、高低还好吗？可以吗？OK， 听得清楚啊。 因为换的 microphone 换新的就 anybody wanna chime in and yes good volume's good okay good 好 thanks everybody audio's great sound is good all right thank you John 好的 okay you know what just because I love to do this I'm going to greet our participants by country 就因为这是很好玩的一件事那看谁来参加我们虽然是上网我们是网上的一个会议法会可是一样可以成一个团体可以就说联系起来even though this is a virtual global event there's a way to build community here. I think one way to do it, since we have close to 100, we will go beyond 100 people today. I'm just going to read the countries of the folks who have joined so that we can get a sense of how we are truly global. So 1 for Australia, City of 10,000 Buddhas, 2 for City, Ukiah. Okay, United States. Oh, no, Shanghai, China. Okay, that's the first friend from China. Hong Kong, 1 for Hong Kong. Vietnam, excellent. United States, Canada. Texas, that's a country in itself. California, Ohio. California, China. California. Washington State, yes. California. See, California. Washington State, California. 4 friends, I don't know where you are from. 不知道你从哪里来。你如果能告诉我们，就在Bay Area, okay? Yeah, 好。California, 浙江 China, 中国。什么地方 Sarah is here. Okay, that's definitely California. Malaysia, first one. America, Seattle. Malaysia, 2. Vietnam, 2. Let's see, tsunami is in China. California, Vietnam. Okay, 中国, Virginia, Malaysia. Malaysia's got a lot of listeners here. Excellent. California, Malaysia, again. 好，那我们就知道有北京，中国 ，Texas，中国之内应该说东北人最多黑龙江北京 ，good，杭州 ，welcome，杭州 ，welcome，杭州 again，封家3位欢迎4位，哇，那么多姓封的，欢迎各位。So China. Let's see here. Inside of China, let's identify. 山东、辽宁、湖南、辽宁、台湾、马来西亚、黑龙江、苏州、安徽苏州、新北市、台湾、上海、湖南、吉林、包头、内蒙古。好的，那海宁。河北唐山、黑龙江、江苏，镇江、江苏，呼和浩特、内蒙古、北京、黑龙江，那么多。OK， 广西、北京、西雅图，上海，哈尔滨，温哥华，加拿大 ，Malaysia， 马来西亚，洛杉矶，是中国人住在美国。OK， 中国辽宁、广东。西南，山东西南，还有什么地方？黑龙江、哈尔滨、深圳、上海，黑龙江 and Taipei. Okay, so we know we're now over 100. Lots of friends. Okay, stop sharing my screen so you can see me. Yeah, but maybe you won't be able to see me for long. Because we got a sutra coming up. There we go. Let me say a few words first before we get going. From where we are now at the very, very end of the 6 transference out of 10 transferences. We're in the verses section. And the verses are, on one hand, they repeat what was said before in the prose part of the sutra. So every sutra chapter in the Avatamsaka has 2 portions, largely. There's a prose part, and depending upon the flower that is strung together to make the garland of the Avatamsaka, it has small vignettes, the 10 practices, good example. There are 10 subsections inside the chapter, and each of the practices is shaped like a story, like a little playlet, a vignette, kind of like a short story. And once the plot is done, and there are recognizable humans doing human things, then principles come out, and the chapter becomes like a lesson of you need to know this piece of Dharma. And in the 10 practices, there's a major theme, which is the paramitas. And the paramitas, not 6, but 10 perfections. Now, does everybody know what these are? Maybe you're an old hand at Buddhism, and you know, I just have to name the name, and you know what I'm talking about. So that's the way. So then that's the prose part. Sometimes there is a portion that has to do with encouraging you to cultivate, and then there's the verses that repeat. That's the structure of most of these chapters. Let me translate that. 我们已经讲到第6回向的最后那个重诵的快讲完了。华严经里边就叫华严，就像一个华曼，这个好几个华佗一坨一坨，用一条绳子就连贯起来，贯穿成一个圆形的一个庄严品，可以戴在你的脖子上。就是华曼 a lei in English, we call it a flower lei, flower garland. 华严经的名字，那部经的这个名字就是从那个来的。那个华佗一坨一坨的是什么呢？就是一品一品，通通40品，39个40品。这个每品呢，它的里边的内容，它的次序结构总是长行，那个长行部分是等于一个小故事，或者一个短片的广播剧，或者一篇短片文章，差不多了。就说那个菩萨出来了，哪一品有不同的菩萨，普贤菩萨、文殊菩萨，这个功德林菩萨、金刚藏菩萨，他们出来了。接受佛的加倍加持，然后开始讲有里边那个小故事，那个故事有什么认识是一个代表如何行菩萨道的一个人他出来做他应该做的事，然后做完了就加上里边的道理，修行的方法我看看哪一个是6回向，10回向就布施持戒忍辱精进禅定般若智慧，这样子都加上很多品。接下来有一个鼓励我们应该修行一个部分，就有一些讲那个什么好处，你这样修行就有好处。然后呢，重诵，那重诵就是偈诵，哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒哒，把上边那些道理再说一遍用偈诵来说。好了，那我们就明白这个结构，the structure 多数是这样子。那我们在十回向品的第六回向的最后重诵的只有几首还在，我们可能不是这个礼拜，下个礼拜可能再下个礼拜讲完了，然后我们就办到第七回向。Okay, so we are at the end of the verses section of the sixth transference. And not this week and not next week, but probably the third week from now, depending on how much progress we make, we will finish the sixth transference. It's been a long time. We've been lecturing on this for quite a while. So what I wanted to mention was, I wish you all could see, I have I have 3 beautiful red parrots outside my window. 3 boys have dropped by. When the boys all come together, and they are brilliant birds, when the boys come together, it's because the females are on the nest, on eggs. Otherwise, other times of the year, we get male and female together, but it's boys' night out. Now there's 4 brilliant red birds. All right. 这个鹦鹉哦，它们红色非常好看。那个what I wanted to suggest was Master Hua, when he gave his nightly lectures, the purpose, of course, was to introduce the sutra in English to the new culture, to the US, to the West, to Canada, to Australia, to Europe. Half of the time of Shifu's lecturing was taken up in translation. Even more because we had to operate the tape to bring his voice back and then slowly translate it. My hunch is that, my intuition is that if Shifu had conducted the sutra lectures in a single language, not in 2 languages, or sometimes Cantonese, that the sutra lectures would have been much livelier. What do I mean livelier? And it's not that they weren't lively. Shifu kept the lectures very lively. His skillful lecturing, his tone of voice, his accents, the humor, the stories that he told, the flexibility, the way he would punctuate the lecture with teachings to the people listening. Shifu wanted the lectures to be lively, to be listenable, to be fresh. He wanted us to develop an interest in the sutras independently of mind you, they weren't entertainment. This is not, he didn't make the experience less sacred, but look at what happens in the Avatamsaka Sutra when the Buddha speaks Dharma. Bodhisattvas roll in, they make these huge offerings, clouds of robes, clouds of incense, clouds of flowers. Then they sing. They kneel down one by one from all 10 directions and praise the Buddha, praise the Dharma, praise wisdom, praise compassion. It's noisy and musical and active, and people are coming in and bowing and kneeling and singing and chanting. It's a lively moment. And the Buddha then, now mind you, we don't see these things, but the Buddha uses his psychic powers, sends light out to bless Chachi, everybody listening. And the psychic wonders, the sutra describes them, are just dazzling, just incredible. Not everybody can see them. It's very specific that there are some people who just don't get it. They hadn't made the preparation in their own cultivation for compassion. so they don't see the wonders that the bodhisattvas and devas see. But it's not dull. It's not sedate. It's not quiet. Somehow, when I won't critique, but I do want to say that I think we don't have as much fun with sutra lectures as we could. Yeah, and mind you, half of our audience today is Chinese. The tradition in China was and is that sutra lectures are kind of scholarly. Their sutra lectures are stiff. You don't, the tradition is that the teacher doesn't ask for feedback. He doesn't expect anybody else to speak. He doesn't maybe welcome anyone else speaking, much less singing, much less doing yoga in the middle of the floor or making a vow. And the sutra, the teacher is not there to praise or to teach or to critique his community, at least as far as I have seen the traditional Chinese lectures. And I remember, 等一等，我还没有，我要翻译，等一下哈。I'll translate just a minute. I remember one of our Dharma brothers in Taiwan, a monk called Zheng Fashi, before he left home to become a monk, traveled all over Taiwan. Whenever there was a fa hui of any kind, Zheng Fashi he had a Volvo, and he would drive his Volvo down and take part in the fa hui. And he told me that, he said, the only thing that I avoided were sutra lectures because they were just too dull. They were all words, and there was no sound but the raspy voice of the monk giving the talk. And he said, one exception, your teacher, Master Shrenhua. He said, wherever Shifu was lecturing, I will be sitting in the front row because the lectures are just tremendous, captivating, fascinating. They fill you up. So I know that has become the tradition. I did, however, see someone who was said to be one of the patriarchs of the Tiantai school, one of the senior elders of the Tiantai school, his name is going to zoom out of my mind. We had a chance to listen to him, and Hui Seng Lao Fa Shi, Shang Hui Xia Seng, Hui Seng Lao Fa Shi. He was in San Francisco. He was said to be one of the carriers of the lineage. When he lectured on sutras, we had a chance to hear him lecture on the Fanwang Jing, and his lectures were incredibly lively. Lots of laughter, lots of stories. He talked so fast to keep you awake, and he prepared his lectures by meditating for 2 hours before the lecture. That was how he prepared. He said, you get material when you meditate. So I have heard other sutra lecturers, and it is not dull. It's not quiet. It's not tidy. There's lots of activity. Okay, I need to translate. 我就说，参加，先讲，我每个星期六晚上在加州晚上7点半就变成澳大利亚在这里就星期天下午12点半讲华严经，现在讲到入法界品，入法界品第1、第2卷还在准备介绍文殊师利菩萨，介绍善财童子，他们还没有上台，就知道都在准备听佛陀释迦牟尼佛讲法。那个准备啊，那个次序前边的次序 非常活动，非常活泼。就菩萨佛现放光明，菩萨飞进来，菩萨行大供养，空中有祥云、漫云、花云、音乐云，都在那哇，啵啵啵啵啵啵啵，很多很多事情要做，非常活泼啊！十方菩萨各有各的不同的供养，各有各不同的这个花样，然后呢，供养完了，他们一个一个就次第来赞叹佛、赞叹法、赞叹智慧、赞叹慈悲就他们就那些唱很多音乐、很多词、很多诗，真的，他们那个不是很安静。不是好像死板的佛学讲座，所以呢，我就知道，就是《华严经》给我们讲的，师父玄化上人，如果他不是在先讲5分钟、10分钟，然后等翻译，再来讲中文讲经10分钟这样子，然后等翻译。就说上人能讲法的时间分了一半，就是英文翻译，因为上人的愿力是愿意把正法、汉传佛教大乘经典介绍到西方，所以师父必须要注定一半的时间来翻译。如果没有的话，我相信师父就会让这个节目更活泼、更活动就是师父在那儿讲故事，讲得很动听。师父会用高音、用低音、用大声，然后用小声，就让我们听众呢就不会睡觉，对佛经有兴趣、感兴趣。还有他都会叮咛我们这个大众的里边的弟子，他会笑一笑，他会指摘，他会就会称人家的名字，就问问题了。非常活动，非常活泼。意思是说，我们不要以为听经就是大家好像入定然后睡觉，那个不是商人我们在中国呢，在中国已经有传统，哇，那个传统来了，大家就不敢动，不敢改善不敢改变，因为传统我们就是这样做。你有什么资格？你这样出风头，岂有此理？这样子，那个法师在法座高高在上除了他的声音就没有第二个声音，不敢问问题，不敢说话那个就是人的问题，不是佛法的问题，也我相信不是原始的法会的情形。所以我们现在介绍音乐介绍故事，介绍这个玄奘大师的故事还有电影这个 video 还有等种种的，会让我们的六根就稍微能消化经书的道理就可以了，那就叫善巧方便。当然这不是娱乐，我们不是为了讨好你这个听众，不是，只是为了让我们更明白经商的道理，还有更能消化里边的这个真理我们认识一位真理法师，现在已经往生。真理法师他还没有出家之前，他是居士，护法居士。他在台湾，他说哪里有法会，我一定会把我的 Volvo 车子开到哪里去。 无论在高雄，无论在花莲，无论在台中，在台北，我都会去。他说，会参加，除了一个之外，他说哪儿有人讲经说法，我总是忙，有原因就不参加。他说太死板了，就是一个声音，偏于左脑那个知识方面，不感兴趣。他说有一个例外，就是你的师父玄化上人，他讲经，我怎么样争先恐后，我都不会不参加。师父讲经，我会坐在第一排，洗耳聆听。他说你师父讲的经讲得很动听，而且呢，就总是感觉除了经文之外，有很多很多方面你都接受，那个光明加持。他说智慧所以他说，你师父讲经不会死板，所以我们现在讲经我相信各位现在116的人参加了，因为这个是我们愿意跟随上人，就把这个佛经把它讲的活动希望这个经书都可以我们把手机关掉把这个电脑关掉，下座位一直走就会把这个佛经的道理就吸到我们的细胞里边，就吸收在我们的这个流血里边，变成自己的这个真的身体。So the goal, of course, back to English, he's back. The goal, of course, is to find a way to, when the sutra lecture's over, when it's time to put away your phone or your computer and get down off your chair and go into the world, that the principles of the sutra have become part of your bloodstream, have become part of our cells, and that we have that light of the Dharma in our activities, every activity. So a suggestion that we can use digital animation. Yeah. Alrighty. Just let me follow with one idea. We don't have to change the medium, interestingly. It's not that voices are boring. In fact, voices have been the medium for carrying the Dharma for, let's say, if we started from the Buddha's lifetime, only up until the last part of the 20th century. So for only 50 years have we had 100 years, electricity. So no electricity, we're back to my voice, your ears. So it's the human contact is the best medium to my mind, but it's what you do with that human contact. How do you bring the Dharma? How do you get the sutras into people's imagination? That's the question. 不是说你必须要用电动工具电动玩具，用漫画，用卡通片，不一定。我就说能开流电只有100年，从佛住世到现在2400年，都是一个人的口，你们大家的耳朵，你的口，我的耳朵，这样是讲经说法，不必换了。能插电的东西，就是要换什么？沟通的方法。我怎么样能把佛经上的道理，能把它讲活了？然后呢，你可以问问题，我可以答复，我可以加一点音乐，你可以吸收，So 那就是 我的道理，我的意思。Okay, all right. Enough. Share my screen. Here we go. Dook. Yep. Here we are. Oh, this is, you know what? That's yesterday. We want today's sutra. There we go, right there. Okay. Yes. Are we ready? Here we go. 菩萨观察一切法，谁为能如此法者？云何为如何所如？如是不是心无住。 Bodhisattvas contemplate all manners of practice. Who can master the practice of giving? How could one gain mastery? What is there to master? Giving in this way, your mind is free from attachment. Okay, manners of practice, dharmas, right? It's the word dharma. Contemplate, bodhisattvas contemplate dharmas, or dharma practices, dharma methods. Who is able to master this dharma, these practices? How do we master it? What is there to master? Notice, now, interesting, look, the verb here, we're saying master, it's ru. In the past, this would have been translated as enter, because that's one word that the character ru represents. But you don't enter a dharma. You begin cultivation of it, but if it's a dharma method, mastery. To enter it means like to merge with it, to become one with it, to lose its boundaries and your boundaries so you become one thing. That's ru in this case. Okay? And then third line, ru. There's two, same word appears twice more. So let's look at it again. Bodhisattvas contemplate all the different ways of cultivation. Who can master which one? It says, 此法者, this practice. What practice? Giving. That's the topic of the sixth transference. Who can be the best at giving? Who can really give in a way that is accepted and leaves no trace? Not so simple. How could you gain mastery of it? What is there to master? Giving in this way, their mind is free of attachment. All right, we haven't talked about this a lot, but the sutra, I guess I really should have done this earlier. When a bodhisattva gives, and then gives again with transference, they really do give. They take things that they didn't have before, and they give them away. They hand them from their hands to others. And mind you, there can be courage and fearlessness, there can be dharma, and there can be thing. In the doing of that, there is a way to do it, that bodhisattvas do it, that is really called the perfection of giving. And the perfection of giving, what are the components? There's a giver, there's a receiver, and there's the thing in between, the gift. They do it in a way that is as karma-free as possible, because giving has power to tie the receiver to the giver. When you get something that you really need, you are grateful. Somebody saved your life. Somebody, you were really hungry and they gave you food. You were really thirsty and you got a drink. You didn't have bus fare and they came along and handed you a ticket. Oh, you could go and see your parents before the deadline. So yeah, you're really grateful. You remember them. The bodhisattva wants to do it in a way that is free from self. It's tricky. It's tricky to give, to receive, and to have the gift not make further karma. That's the perfection of giving. How many of the givers want the indebtedness? They want the person to remember and be grateful. That's what they want. They want their attention. They want something else. They give because they want a favor. A lot. Politics is full of that. Lobbyists come and give a lot so that they get a favor back from the politician. All kinds of stuff in between. Bodhisattvas know that, and they give in another way. They give in a way that is free from all of that confusion. So, how about that? That's what the sutra calls 布施波罗蜜, the perfection of giving. 各位注意哈，这一点我们没有讲了很多，应该讲，就说菩萨观察一切法在这里就说法门修行的方法，谁为能入此法者，哪一个叫此法者，就是布施。现在这个第六回向也讲布施然后呢，布施完了你有回向，第二种布施，云何为入？你怎么样成就这个法？你成就的是什么？入施布施心无住。你说哪一个我们没有讲？就说这个布施波罗蜜。本来华严经就说佛法讲3种布施，你也可以布施法，那是最高的。你也可以布施五位施。五位施就是大家到恐怖的时候，你可以安慰他们的心，他们不恐怖，那是宝贵啊。如果是孩子啊，你就安慰他们说，晚上你可以睡觉，不怕那个声音，也不是什么魔鬼要吃你，不是什么妖怪来害你，没有了，你好好睡觉，就唱一首歌就可以了。那个是无畏施。还有第3种就是法，就是物品你做法施，你做这个无畏施，你就做普通的供养，就是这种东西了3种布施，就说多数呢在这个市场里边了，普通的情形呢，大家布施一定要有所收获，要它的代价。我愿意舍得这个东西，因为我会受的更有价值的东西，所以我就愿意布施，我可以布施多数是这样子。菩萨才不会这样子。菩萨呢，他呢就说3轮体空。3轮就是布施者、受布施的人，还有那个礼物，那个布施的东西，3轮体空。菩萨他愿意做布施，就没有影子，没有业就希望这样布施那个受他的供养的人不会对他有好感除非他是愿意摄受，那当然他愿意结善缘也可以布施这样子。可是他不是为我不愿意你受我的供养之后，你就对我有个好感，那个就是有后果了。3轮体空，你如果能没有观察，没有那个供养人、布施的人，观察，也没有那个受获的人，观察，也没有那个礼物，那就不是波罗蜜3轮真的空了。所以呢，就说菩萨如是布施心无住。Okay, so that's an explanation of a mind free from attachment as you give. Those, what do they say? They say the 3 wheels are empty of any existence. So that's perfection of giving. So if I'm crossing you over, if I want to establish a wholesome connection with you so that you think highly of the Dharma and you want to cultivate, certainly that's an expedient means of gathering someone in. But I don't want you to be grateful to me, the person, and establish a personal connection of gratitude, because there's karma there, and there can be an attachment. So if we can instead give so that the three wheels, that is to say, the giver, the receiver, and the gift are all empty, they're all done without clinging, without attachment, ooh, not easy. But that is called the perfection of giving. 菩萨会上善巧智，菩萨会上方便法，菩萨会上真实义，于其法中无所着。Same idea. Bodhisattvas dedicate to attain skillful wisdom. Bodhisattvas dedicate to attain skillful means. Bodhisattvas dedicate to attain the essence of reality. And practicing this way, there's no attachment whatsoever. All right. Earlier in the Ten Transferences chapter, there was a section that was dedicated to training us how to do transference the way bodhisattvas do it. And bodhisattvas transfer to three places, they say, to bodhi, to living beings, and to shiji, to the essence of reality, or we used to say the reality limit, whatever that was. So these are three places that, and then that chapter, that one of the transferences in the 10 Transferences chapter, repeated that like a mantra. It just came back over and over and over again. The Bodhisattva transfers to Bodhi, to living beings, and to ultimate reality. And I confess it's a little opaque. Why was that important to transfer to those three things? But it was, and it repeated over and over and over again. And just kind of like a mantra. So there is a formula here where by transferring to attain skillful wisdom, to attain skillful means, and to attain the essence of reality, you can transfer that way without increasing a karmic burden for yourself, for the receiver, and you don't harm the dharmas that you transfer, the gift. 十回商品里边，另外我忘了是哪一个，是第3是第4回向。就菩萨在回向的时候，常常有跟这一段类似的，就说菩萨回向智慧，回向菩提，回向众生，回向实际，就回来，再重复说了好几次，就意思是说菩萨这样子回向就没有这个恶业，没有那个执着，没有那个恶缘，就是善缘很清了清净。这样布施我们就施惠商品常常提倡。Okay, another. 心不分别一切业，亦不燃烧于业果，持菩提心从缘起，入生法界无为逆。The mind makes no distinctions about karma and is not attached to karmic consequences, knowing that Bodhi fundamentally rises from conditions. They deeply enter the Dharma realm without causing contradiction. All right. This is for those who are, if your eyes are glazing over at this point, heard a lot of principle. There is an aspect of transference that is really, really profound. It takes you directly into the mechanics of the universe into the real engine room of karma. And it shows you you have to listen carefully to it to see what's going on here. But it shows you how a bodhisattva is, you could say, has his or her hands on the levers of karma. And they are crossing living beings over, but doing it in a way that doesn't go wrong. It's done purely and cleanly and skillfully. The issue is right here in this verse. They give and they transfer, but their minds are not concerned about, they're not discriminating self and others. They're not worried about the rewards. They know that Bodhi comes from conditions, and yet when they practice this, they do it with all of their strength. They enter the Dharma realm and move around doing this kind of giving without fear of tying themselves into karmic patterns, again, that they have skillfully removed themselves from. So this is like, oh, wow, that's deep. It's, if we could see it, this is, we talk about quantum mechanics and people are, the laboratory physicists are simply speculating about the nature of the universe, and was it the Big Bang and entropy and these theories. And yet here in the sutra, the Bodhisattva does this with every next thought as he crosses living beings over. 这一点很深，就说菩萨回向的时候，你看他就说心不分别一切业，他知道他这样子布施，然后这样子回向，他不会执着那个众生，那个众生不会执着菩萨，亦不燃烧于业果，他能好像如果这个宇宙，如果这个法界，这个世界是像一个汽车，菩萨他能拉开这个那个盖子，他能 roll up the sleeves， 拿个工具一个螺旋，在宇宙的马达，他能修理，他能调一调，就这样子修行不会害自己，不会执着，不会造业，不会害人家众生，他就清净，智菩提心从缘起，知道如何这样做呢，就不会做错了，入身法界无违逆，他就有这种智慧，还有他真的能度众生而不会留下什么错，还是什么复杂或者不清净的地方，不容易，真的不容易OK，more， 不于身中而有业，亦不依止于心住，智慧了知无业心，亦因缘故也不是。Understanding that no karma exists within the body or mind, their wisdom comprehends that karma is devoid of intrinsic nature, that it exists contingent upon causes and conditions. There you are. So, from the Buddhas, from the Bodhisattvas' wisdom, with the samadhis that they are able to master, they can move cleanly without offending cause and effect. That's what it says, not us. It'd be a mistake to take this verse and go, oh, well, therefore I can do whatever I want. No problem. No, that's not the case. We are still making karma with every movement, every word, every thought. We're not at this level of wisdom, okay? But they use this contemplation to go and save living beings with great energy. 菩萨他的境界呢，他入定，他就知道，他证空已经知道了，所以不于身中而有业，亦不抑制于心住。就不是我们不是菩萨，所以呢，我们不能说，哎呀，没有业呢。华严经这么说，所以我可以为所欲为，没有关系了。有关系，我们不是菩萨，他的成就，他的这个境界不是我们的境界了。智慧了知无业性，因为他已经修到这个无我，正的无我，依因缘故也不是，所以。这不是说他什么都不做了，不是说怕因果，他能用因果清净来度我们，很用功精进，才是就满他的度众生愿。心不忘去过去法，亦不贪着未来事，不于现在有所住。了为三世系空寂。Their mind does not cling to the past, nor does it crave the future, or dwell in the present. Bodhisattvas thus understand the emptiness and stillness of the three periods of time. Well, if you understood the emptiness and stillness of the three periods of time, you would be able to take living beings across without any harm. Without any ripples, without any regrets. And you would never be late, you would never be too early, and then you would get to see living beings completely forget everything you tried to teach them, and you still wouldn't give up. Yeah, this is the best of all possible worlds, where at every teaching, living beings go, thank you, Bodhisattva. Not the case. Mostly we turn our backs on kindness. My deepest regrets have to do with the ways that I disappointed my teacher over and over again. So, but bodhisattvas don't quit. They understand the emptiness and stillness of the three periods of time, and when living beings get crossed over, that's when their vows come complete and full. So they don't quit. Indeed. I've noticed that they say here in Queensland, the COVID wards are full again, and we have had three of our nuns come down with COVID this week. We know that our senior elder Bhikshuni Heng Sure, is in the hospital, in hospice care actually, and we'd like to do some chanting on her behalf. So let's recite Medicine Buddha's mantra and dedicate merit. 就说我们这里这个医院就已经又满了这个疫情这些病人病患，我们上城有3位比丘尼就去医院又换了一个 COVID，我们的比丘尼长老恒显法师现在就在加护病房了，我们就为他们都念那个药师观定真言3遍，好吧？ Ready? Now let's take a look. Let's take a look at Master Xuanzang's fabulous story. Oh, here we are. So last time we had the king of Gaochang was making offerings to Master Xuanzang because he had been defeated by Master Xuanzang in argument, in debate, and Master Xuanzang outsmarted him and determined that he was going to go to India. The king made a vow not to stop him, but asked him to come back. And he created a way for Master Xuanzang to, here we go, created a way for Master Xuanzang to preach to the whole country, including his mother, his wife, his family, the monks in the palace, and all the citizens. Then he made offerings, and the offerings were lavish. Wow, lots and lots of stuff that Master Xuanzang, I'm sure, used. Good gear for the trek ahead. Further, he wrote him letters, particularly to the king, the biggest king up ahead, Shehu Khan is his name, and got him letters of passage, kind of passports, you might say, so to ease the road ahead. So it turned out to be a good king. Let me translate that and we'll continue. 上次玄奘大师就拿出来他的坚强心，他不会被这个高昌王所威胁，就放下他去印度的愿力，不会。他就说宁死就不要放弃。那个高昌王降服了，低头了，就说好，我发誓不会阻碍你。然后他就请玄奘大师讲法，请他母亲来，请道场里边、国家里边所有的法师来听讲。然后他就请老百姓大家都来听法师讲法，然后呢，这个开始供养，哇，很多东西，宝贵的东西，可用的东西，就是因为他知道前边这个路途的会很困难，会很不好走，所以给他衣服。给他马， 给他这个特别的鞋子就给他准备。然后呢，他又写介绍信、推荐信，前边这个舍护看一个大王，还有其他的地方，他就准备登记护照，就玄奘大师可以带着介绍，说高昌王认识我，这样子很有用的，很有用。OK， 那我们就继续 ，right？ Okay, here we go. Here we go. Look at this beautiful layout. Isn't this nice? So clean. Got 汉语拼音，还有这个汉字又作24封书，通驱至等24国，每一封书附大林一批为信，又一灵卷500匹，果味2车，现摄护可汗，并书成法师者是奴隶，欲求法，欲波罗门果，愿可汗怜师如怜奴，仍请册以西诸国，给吾劳落马，递送出境。Wow, useful. The king also wrote 24 letters to the 24 countries, including Kucha, through which the master would pass. And to each letter was attached one roll of fine silk as a sign of credence. 500 rolls of silk, 2 cartloads of fruits were presented to the Shahu Khan, to whom a letter was also written, in which the king said, "The master, who is my younger brother," and I might say, notice here, 你们各位注意有没有？是奴隶，国王自己说是奴，是吗？很自卑，就是说很和蔼他不公高，他说自己是奴隶。Okay, the Chinese character, he says, "The master, who is my younger brother," in the way he phrases it, he says, "this slave's brother." So the king is humbling himself, and don't you know, the kings who read that letter appreciate another king humbling himself. He says, this slave's brother wants to go to the countries of the Brahmins to seek for the Dharma. I wish the Khan will treat him with kindness, just as he would treat me. How about that? And he also requested the Khan to give orders to the countries in the West to send the master out of their domains by relay of Luo Ma, Gei Wu Luo Ma, sending horses to escort him on the way. Yeah, so very cool. The what you see here is, number one, the king of Gaochang knows the road. He said when he was still arguing with Master Xuanzang, he said, I've been to Xi'an. I know I know all the different rulers between here and China. I know Chang'an. I know everybody who's in charge, and they know me. And he also gives his opinion. He says, I'm not very impressed with the monks there. You are different, he says. So he, looking back towards China, he knows everybody. Looking forward towards India, he knows 24 countries worth of rulers. And he writes a letter, and he attaches a gift to the letter. So the, how many Chinese films have you seen where the camera takes us into the king's chambers, takes us into the seat of power. The king is there with all of the 文武百官, all of the ministers, and somebody comes running in and they have a communication. And if it has a beautiful bolt of silk on it from Gaochang, it's like, ooh, it's a real thing. So this king is a real 善知识. He, in fact, is a very skillful Dharma friend and is helping Master Xuanzang out tremendously. 各位注意有没有这个高昌王他很懂事，他现身做一个真正的善知识。他不但去过这个长安，从他的国家到长安中间所有的国王，他都认识，他知道他们的好坏。他又说，我没有看到我多少可以尊重的一些法师那里。还有从他的国家往印度24个国家的国王他都认识，然后他就准备一封信，介绍信，不但介绍信，而且有这个丝绸一卷，跟每一封信包括在内。所以呢，你们各位看了多少片电影这个国王这个文武百官站在那里，然后有人跑进来说，大王都有一封信封给他。如果在这个情形之下有这个丝绸这个宝贵的东西了，大家我们就注意了，很重要这样子。这个国王高昌王他明白，所以他都准备然后自己称自己是奴婢然后说玄奘大师是我的哥哥，我是他的奴隶，他比我大，他比我高那个是很有方便，这非常懂事的一个国王。Also, what the Gaochang king says in his post, he says, I am his not only slave, but also younger brother. He uses the word 奴弟, I'm his 弟弟, not 奴哥. I'm not older than him. He is my older brother, so please treat him well. So very skillful. The king of Gaochang shows himself to be a real skillful guy. 法师见王送沙弥记国书灵卷等志，残期有见之后，上期谢月，藏温江河海峡，既知者必平周集。春生智惑，导之者实假圣言。是亦如来云以子之大悲，生资秽土，敬三明之慧日，朗此幽昏。此云隐有顶之天，法语润3000之戒，立案以弃，舍应归真。On being informed that the king had given him 4 novice monks and provided him with letters of introduction and rolls of silk, the master felt thankful for these rich gifts and wrote a letter to the king to express his gratitude. He said, Xuanzang has heard that one must depend on a boat with oars to cross the river and sea when they're deep. And in just the same way, one has to depend upon the holy teachings to guide one out of the doubts that exist in the minds of men, he says. Okay, look at how he writes. This is, it's elegant. He's really, really elegant. 玄奘大师写的信呢，就非常文雅。他就典故，藏他说我听说江海下深，既知者必逢舟楫。 尊生智惑，导知之是假圣言。它能就是一种就说对联之事，对联样子的就是一定是出家人写的信。Notice this is clearly a monk, clearly a letter written by a monk. He's got parallel phrasing. What does he say? He says, oh, if you want to cross a river, a deep river, you got to have a boat with oars. And if you want to get past the doubts in the minds of ordinary people, you have to depend on the words of sages. So you go, oh man, this guy. So the Tathagata was born into this impure world with a compassionate mind, just the way a mother would love her only son. He lights up the darkness of the mind with the sun of wisdom, with the three kinds of knowledge, 戒定慧. The cloud of kindness suspended in the sky and the rain of Dharma moistened the 3,000 worlds. After having fulfilled his task of benefiting all beings, he abandons the false and returns to the true. Okay, now we're going to leave you halfway through the letter. We'll come back to the letter next week. Pretty good. Pretty good. We'll do one more. Okay. 一教东流600余寺，腾慧振辉于五落，灿神宗美于清凉，不坠旋风，闲匡圣业. Wow, beautiful writing, right? His bequeathed teachings have been spread to the East for more than 600 years, and this is the Tang when he's writing. Kashyapa Matanga and Sanghavarman glorified the law at Wu and Luo, that's Luoyang and Kaifeng, while Dharma Raksha and Kumarajiva embellished it at Qin and Liang. They all taught the sublime truth and performed superior deeds. So when you get a letter like this, it has the quality of a Shastra. It's the Buddha's wisdom in contemporary use. And this is a monk with a writing brush and a piece of paper. He's probably writing it on some, I don't know, what would it be? Bamboo or something. So incredible that he can come up with prose, beautiful words like this that are so powerful. And yet we saw our teacher do the same. We saw Shifu compose poetry and essays as he stood at the blackboard with chalk in his hand. So, yeah, pretty amazing. 就说这个法师哈，他能用毛笔、黑色的墨，用他要珠片或者什么东西，他就写下，从他的心能把正法的道理现代化，就现代就是唐朝这样写，真的是令我们钦佩。宣化上人也有这个能力，师父就在黑板上拿个粉笔，就在那儿听，然后开始写下一字都不改，有诗有词有文章，就有对联，改我们的对联。你能亲眼看到人有这种本事，你就五体投地了哈。So when you see people who have this skill, you want to admire and bow and imitate them. Indeed. Time to dedicate merit and see us next week. We will be in halfway through the letter. Thank you all for taking part today. Whatever works to get us transferring merit the way the Buddhas do it, the way the Bodhisattvas do it, that's what we want to do. 无论我们用什么方法，令我们对于回向功的这个法门呢感兴趣，然后接受，然后实行，那就我们可以用。All right, please make a wish, practice the dedication right now. May every living being, our minds as one, radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. We will bow to the Buddhas. Please join me. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us for this week. Amitofo, see you all next week. Bye now.